G'day guys, welcome back. Now, if you are in the market for a used Toyota 86, stick around, I'm going to tell you all about it. So welcome. Now, if you've already started your search for a Toyota 86, you probably would have noticed that it shares similarities and platforms with the Subaru BRZ, which was released at the same time. It was a joint venture by Toyota and Subaru to come up with this amazing little sports car. However, you will see that there is probably twice as many Toyota 86s available on the second-hand market than there are the Subaru BRZ. The popularity of the Toyota 86 definitely superseded the Subaru. Now, there are some slight differences between the two cars, which I'll go through with you. So being that there is twice as many Toyota 86s, it seems right that we only give this one, the Toyota 86, a good test. So let's get this underway. We'll take this one for a little spin and let me share with you what to do and what not to do when purchasing a second-hand Toyota 86. So when Toyota brought these out in 2012, they brought them out in two variants. Now, one of them was the GT and the second one was the GTS. Now, the GTS got the 17-inch alloys, the climate control, the heated seats as well, and also the suede Alcantara sport seats as well, which was really nice little premium upgrade. And an aero package was available for an extra $3,000, which had all the spoilers, the skirting kit on it as well. So that was available through Toyota, TRD, and that's also something worth considering if you are looking for a second-hand Toyota 86. Now, the Subaru BRZ was also released around the same time, 2012. They released with one model, and that shared the same wheels. The only difference really was they released theirs with a cloth interior. So it was on the same spec as the GTS, however it had cloth seats, and it was an extra charge if you wanted the Alcantara. Now, both variants were a four-seater car. Now, really ideally for two people. I think anyone that was sort of going to sit in the back probably wasn't going to be doing it because they wanted to. There's plenty of luggage room too, and also the back seats fold down, which is convenient as well. So the Toyota 86 shares the motor with the Subaru BRZ, which is the boxer motor. It come out with a 6-speed gearbox and also had an option of a 6-speed auto gearbox as well. So if you're around town using the car probably more frequently around town, you'd probably go for the auto. However, this 86 just wouldn't reward itself as much with that auto gearbox. It seriously is a special car with this manual. It's very, very well balanced, extremely well balanced, and just delivers a lot of feedback to the driver, which is sort of what you want in a sports car. So one thing you want to be aware of when you're purchasing a second-hand Toyota 86 or BRZ Subaru is that it hasn't been tracked. You kind of want to find something that's really original. So these things came out with a Michelin Pilot tyre, which stinks like glue. It's fantastic. These things really are such a joy to drive. You throw them in a corner and they just handle so well. The weight ratio on these has been done perfectly. And look, there's not a lot of power there. You're not going to get yourself in a huge amount of trouble. However, a lot of these have been modified in a way so that you can use them as a drift car. There's a lot of people out there that think they're drift kings and have potentially bought these and give them a little bit more of a hard time than what they deserve. Now, it's all good and well having a car that you can have some fun in, but not something that you're going to be sort of revved out and tortured for most of its life. So really important that you find a car that's maybe got a really good service history, hasn't gone over its terms. It doesn't necessarily have to be done at Toyota. However, if I found a car that did have that service history, that would definitely be a plus, and I'd be definitely looking for that. I'd be checking out underneath as well, being that these cars do sit relatively low, and some people have added aftermarket suspension to get it even lower, that a lot of the times the front bumper it's been scuffed up underneath. So get underneath the car and have a little bit of a look around underneath there. Suspension, obviously, as I just said, has been changed. Some people put aftermarket brakes on them. Mufflers is another big change that a lot of enthusiasts have done to these cars. The airbox modification was another one that's been done to this car a lot, so check out that. Kind of want to get something that has got the original air cooling setup on it. I think that the fact that there is so much available for these cars now, if you do find something that is relatively original, you're going to have a fun time making it yours and putting those bits and pieces that you want to into it to make it exactly the way you want it to perform. So another reason why you want to be looking out for those modifications that we talk about is it's all good and well finding a car that might have the suspension, might have the aftermarket air filter, might have the aftermarket exhaust, might have the aftermarket wheels. But when you get it actually home and you go ring the insurance company to insure the car, they're likely to give you a higher premium for that sort of stuff. So it's just another little reason to think about the type of mods that you're actually purchasing and maybe what that car's been through with those mods on, and the reason that the mods have been put on the car. Just keep that in mind when you're actually out there having a good look around at the cars. So Subaru did a really good job with this motor, and as long as it's been well maintained, servicing wise, they haven't allowed, the previous owner hasn't allowed the oil to go thick and black and all that sort of stuff, you know, it's going to serve you well. Subaru do make good motors, so they will give you some longevity, so you shouldn't be too worried about that. However, there was a few recalls. One of them was for a electrical issue to do with the power steering. It basically could still be driven, but it obviously required a lot more effort. Now this recall was between 2012 and 2015. It also had a second recall to do with the valve springs. So make sure that both of these have been done. There is a little sticker in Australia that they put down in the front of the door that has the Australian compliance recall standards on it. So look out for that if you are purchasing it in Australia. So which would you choose, the Toyota 86 or the BRZ Subaru? To me, I'd probably go with the Toyota. On the terms of the second-hand market, which is what we're talking about here, that you'll probably find that when you come time to sell it yourself, that there's going to be more people out there looking for a Toyota 86 than a BRZ. So let's talk about its competitors. You've got the Ford Focus ST. I think that would probably go up against this quite well. You've got the Veloster, which is the Hyundai Veloster Turbo. I think that car could go up against this quite well as well. You've got the Honda Civic Type R. So there's a few cars in this market that this car competes with. So there's a lot of choice when it comes to looking in this sort of area. However, I think when you put them head to head, I reckon the others are going to struggle. They're going to struggle a bit to get the balance right like this car has. And there's a good, genuine reason why Toyota paired up with Subaru and why Subaru said yes to Toyota. You know, you think these other cars that we've just spoken about have done it on their own. We've got two manufacturers, two very, very good manufacturers that have teamed up to make this very, very good car. I think that's really important to understand. So when buying any used car, make sure you go get it checked out. Take it to your local mechanic or take it to Toyota. Get them to give it a good once over. Make sure that there's anything, any gremlins, anything that they can come up with. Check that the recalls have been done before purchasing. And I think that you'll know too. Like genuinely, you sit in a car, you're genuinely going to get a good feel for how tight it is, the responsiveness. It's going to, if a car's being used hard, you're going to hear the rattles. You know, you're going to hear, it's going to feel softer. It's going to be, there's going to be a lot of wear and tear on things like the bolsters of the seat. There's going to be scuff marks on the door sills. One thing when I jumped in this Toyota 86, now this is a 2014 model Toyota 86, and it still has the plastic on the aluminium billet plate covers here on the door sills. So it just goes to show you the type of quality of owner that are out there that do actually care and look after these Toyota 86s. So, in wrapping up, would I buy one of these? Absolutely. This really is a fantastic car for somebody that really wants a good, fun car to go to work in and to and from work in, and then have a serious car that you can take to the track on the weekend. And when I say serious, I'm saying it's going to give you probably more than you can give it, which I think is really fun. A great car for younger people as well. If you've got a family, you're obviously going to have that second car. You know, it's really not a car for a family. Kids are really going to struggle. They're like in my seating position here. I'm lucky to have an inch behind the seat, so you know you're really going to be compromising your seating position if you have got a family, even a small family. The only fault that I could come up with is that it doesn't have a reverse camera. I really do think that in a car today it needs to have that sort of feature. It misses out on the steering wheel controls as well for your audio and cruise control. The cruise control is set behind the wheel, like all Toyotas do. It has got your climate control, so everything else is really comfortable. Looking out the back, it's good. There's quite big B-pillars in the back there that do hide a lot, so that's where that camera could actually work really well as well. So just keep that in mind when you are purchasing the car. Make sure you take it for a good drive, do a little bit of reversing, use it as you would. A lot of people out there take a car for a test drive for 5 minutes. I really recommend trying to get it in there as long as you can. Get a really good feel for the car, make sure it's exactly what you want, because you're going to be living with this car every day. And the harshness of something like this is something you're going to have to get used to, and something you're going to have to live with as well. So be sure that you're not just excited about it as the first. But guys, enjoy. We'll see you next time. Bye.